Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is VC Pramod with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 6 p.m. today. India is at the forefront of vaccine development for coronavirus, says Prime Minister. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 88.63%. Today is the last date for filing of nominations for the third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections. Foundation stone of the first ever multimodal logistic park in Assam laid by Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari. And in IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab to take on Delhi Capitals in Dubai this evening. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation at 6 p.m. today. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said he will be sharing a message with the citizens this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India is now at the forefront of vaccine development for COVID-19. Mr. Modi said that more than 30 indigenous vaccines are being developed in the country and 3 of them are in an advanced stage. He asserted that India is already working on putting a well-established vaccine delivery system in place. The Prime Minister was delivering the virtual keynote address at the inaugural function of Grand Challenges Annual Meeting or GCAT 2020 last evening. Mr. Modi said this digitized network along with digital health ID will be used to ensure immunization of the citizens.
India is now at the forefront of vaccine development for COVID. Some of them are in advanced stages. We are not stopping here. India is already working on putting a well-established vaccine delivery system in place. This digitized network along with digital health ID will be used to ensure immunization of our citizens. Friends, beyond COVID too, India is known for its proven capacity to produce quality medicines and vaccines at low cost. More than 60% of the vaccines of global immunization are being manufactured in India.
The Prime Minister said, thanks to a people-powered and people-driven approach, India kept its COVID-19 death rate very low. The Prime Minister said today India is witnessing a decline in the number of cases per day and the growth rate of cases.
India has one of the highest recovery rates of 88%. This happened because India was one of the first countries to adopt a flexible lockdown when the total cases were just a few hundred. India was one of the first to encourage the usage of masks. India actively began to work on effective contact tracing. India was one of the earliest to deploy the rapid antigen tests.
The Prime Minister said, with India's experience and research talent, we will be at the center of global healthcare efforts and we want to help other nations enhance their capacities in these sectors. Mr. Modi said, the future will be shaped by societies that invest in science and innovation. He said, but this cannot be done in a short-sighted manner. Therefore, one has to invest in science and innovation well in advance to reap the benefits at the right time. The Prime Minister said the journey to these innovations must be shaped by collaboration and public participation.
Such is the power of technology that a global pandemic did not keep us apart. This program has continued as per schedule. This shows the commitment of the Grand Challenges community. It shows a commitment to adapt and innovate.
Mr. Modi said science will never prosper in silos and the Grand Challenges program has understood this ethos well. He said India has a strong and vibrant scientific community and there are also good scientific institutions which have been India's greatest assets, especially during the last few months while fighting COVID-19. Mr. Modi said from containment to capacity building, they have achieved wonders. The Prime Minister stressed that the government is setting up more medical colleges, especially in rural areas, and it will ensure more opportunities for the youth and will bring better health care to the villages. Mr. Modi said the Government of India is running the world's largest health insurance scheme and ensuring access to everyone.
In the last 6 years, we have made many interventions which are contributing to a better healthcare system, such as sanitation, improved cleanliness, more toilet coverage. It helps the poor and underprivileged. It leads to a fall in disease. Now we are ensuring that each household gets piped drinking water. This will further ensure disease reduction. We are running the world's largest health insurance scheme and ensuring access to everyone.
The 3-day brainstorming program will feature leaders' talks, panel discussions and virtual informal conversations on various topics.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said today, being the 4th day of Navaratri, is the day of worship of Goddess Kushmanda, the 4th form of Mother Durga. In his message, Mr. Modi hoped that Ma Kushmanda brings happiness, prosperity and good luck in everyone's life. In West Bengal, all Durga Puja pandals have virtually been declared no-entry zones yesterday by the Calcutta High Court. The court ordered a ban on pandal hopping due to the spread of coronavirus. The order from the High Court said only organizers can enter the pandals and names of people allowed to enter have to be displayed outside it. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari today virtually laid the foundation stone for the first ever multimodal logistic park of the country in Assam. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal and Union Ministers of State Dr. Jitendra Singh, General Retired V.K. Singh and Rameshwar Teli and several ministers of Assam also attended the event. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gadkari said that steps are being taken for the infrastructure development in the state. He said that the logistic park would create job opportunities in the region.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर का मल्टीमोडल लॉजिस्टिक पार्क बनेगा जो रेलवे से, नेशनल हाईवे से, हवाई मार्ग से और जल मार्ग से जुड़ेगा। अभी 12 लॉजिस्टिक पार्क और हम बना रहे हैं जिसके फिजिबिलिटी रिपोर्ट और डीपीआर का काम हो रहा है। मल्टीमोडल पार्क का प्रारूप है, उसमें ब्रह्मपुत्र के किनारे पर 1171 करोड़ की लागत से टोटल 317 एकड़ में टोटल प्लान है ये मल्टीमोडल लॉजिस्टिक पार्क का। इसमें से 50 एकड़ में इनलैंड वाटर का टर्मिनल बनने वाला है और ये जो मल्टीमोडल लॉजिस्टिक पार्क का पहले चरण जो है वो अभी हम कर रहे हैं। ये काम 2023 तक पूरा करने का लक्ष्य रखा गया है। लॉजिस्टिक पार्क बनाने का काम 2 चरणों में होगा। 280 करोड़ का काम अवार्ड हो गया है। 171 करोड़ रुपए का काम सड़क निर्माण का अवार्ड हो गया है। 87 करोड़ रुपए के स्ट्रक्चर बनाने का काम अवार्ड हो गया है और 23 करोड़ रुपए रेल लाइन निर्माण का कार्य भी अवार्ड हुआ है। नवंबर 2020 से काम शुरू हो जाएगा।
Donor Minister Dr. Singh, also due to the initiative of the Prime Minister, the road network in Northeast has been improved a lot during the last 6 years. The 700 crore rupee park at Bongaigaon district will provide direct connectivity to air, road, rail and waterways to the people of Assam and other parts of the Northeast. It will also give employment to 20 lakh people.
रोजगार निर्माण करना ही हमारी सबसे बड़ी प्राथमिकता है। इसमें वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट है, सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट है, बाउंड्री वॉल का निर्माण किया जाएगा और इसका फिर विस्तार भी होगा और मेरा विश्वास है कि ये पोर्ट भी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है और मेरा अब नॉर्थ ईस्ट के बाकी भी राज्यों को आह्वान है कि जहां जहां से हमारी ब्रह्मपुत्रा जाती है, बराक है, इन रिवर को जोड़कर ये एक्सपोर्ट इम्पोर्ट अगर पानी पे आता है तो बहुत बड़ा काम होगा और मेरा विश्वास है कि इसमें हम लोग अभी 22 ग्रीन एक्सप्रेस हाईवे बना रहे हैं जिसकी लंबाई 7,652 किलोमीटर है और 3,18,678 करोड़ हम उसमें खर्चा कर रहे हैं।
It will be developed under the Bharatmala Pariyojana of the centre. The fund for the multimodal logistics park would be spent in 3 components: road and railway connectivity as well as building and infrastructure work. A memorandum of understanding will also be signed to implement the project.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved a new Drdo Procurement Manual 2020. Defence Minister's office said in a tweet that this will encourage more participation of the Indian industry, including startups and micro, small and medium enterprises in research and development activity, and also to achieve the goal of self-reliance in the defence sector. The Defence Minister said the new Drdo procurement manual will facilitate the indigenous defence industry by simplifying the processes and ensuring their participation in design and development activities. He said it will help towards realizing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has congratulated Defence Research and Development Organisation on successful test firing of indigenously developed standoff anti-tank SANS missile off the coast of Odisha. In a tweet, the minister said the missile will further add to the invincibility of the Indian Armed Forces with its before and after launch lock-on capabilities.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 6 p.m. today. India is at the forefront of vaccine development for coronavirus, says Prime Minister. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 88.63%. Today is the last date for filing of nominations for the third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections. Foundation stone for the first ever multimodal logistic park in Assam laid by Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari. And in IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab to take on Delhi Capitals in Dubai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
देखिए फिल्म जगत के कई मशहूर कलाकारों के साथ भगवान श्री राम के जन्म स्थान अयोध्या से रामलीला डीडी नेशनल पर लाइव 17 से 25 अक्टूबर रोज शाम 7 बजे से रात 10 बजे तक और इसका पुनः प्रसारण 18 से 26 अक्टूबर डीडी भारती पर सुबह 9 बजे से दोपहर 12 बजे तक और दोपहर 3 बजे से शाम 6 बजे तक डीडी नेशनल पर।
Welcome back. India has crossed several significant milestones in its fight against COVID-19. The new confirmed cases in the last 24 hours have fallen below 50,000 for the first time in nearly 3 months. There were 46,790 new cases in the last 24 hours. With a high number of COVID patients recovering every day and a sustained fall in the mortality rate, India's steady trend of registering dipping active cases continues. In another achievement, the percentage of active cases have fallen below 10%. A total of 69,720 patients recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours. The national recovery rate has further grown to 88.63%. In all, 78% of the new recovered cases are concentrated in 10 states and union territories. Maharashtra continues to lead with more than 15,000 single-day recoveries, followed by Karnataka with more than 8,000 recoveries. 75% of the new confirmed cases are from 10 states and union territories. Maharashtra, Karnataka and Kerala contribute more than 5,000 cases to the new confirmed cases. A total of 587 fatalities were reported in the past 24 hours. Of these, nearly 81% were concentrated in 10 states and union territories. The number of deaths is below 600 for the second consecutive day. India is the only country with the highest recoveries and continues to have one of the lowest fatality rates globally. Today, it stands at 1.52%.
The trend of daily COVID-19 cases in the 5 most affected states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu reveal the various stages of decline of active cases in these states over the past 1 month. Maharashtra has reported a steep fall in daily cases, and in a time span of nearly 1 month, the numbers have reduced from around 22,000 daily cases to merely 9,000. In Andhra Pradesh, the numbers have fallen from around 9,500 daily reported cases a month ago to nearly 3,900 cases as of today. The Health Ministry has said that these trends also mirror the steady decrease in active cases in the country, with the caseload being sustained below 8 lakhs for 4 days in a row. India's cumulative COVID-19 positivity rate has remained below 8% for the fourth consecutive day yesterday. The Health Ministry said the country's cumulative positivity rate stands at 7.94% and is on a continuous decline. The ministry said the decline in the cumulative positivity rate has demonstrated that the rate of spread of infection is being effectively contained. It said, as evidence has revealed, higher numbers of testing on a sustained basis have aided in bringing down the positivity rate.
In Bihar, special corona testing drive will be launched in containment areas of the state before three-phase state assembly elections. Rapid antigen tests will be conducted in the affected areas to identify infected patients. The state government has instructed district magistrates in this regard. Corona testing drive will be launched from the 23rd to 25th of October for the first phase of polls, which will be held on the 28th of October. For the second phase, testing campaign will be from 29th to 31st of October, while the special testing drive will be from 2nd to 4th of November for the third and final phase of polls. In Puducherry, Lieutenant Governor Dr. Kiran Bedi conducts a virtual meeting with frontline officials every day in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. More in this report.
Following the last noon meeting with the Secretary Health, Dr. Arun, and the Special Secretary Relief and Rehabilitation, Anbarse, Dr. Kiran Bedi said in the media message that it was agreed to focus on crowded areas such as Sunday markets and fish and chicken shops for crowd spacing to avoid virus spread. Mobile testing vans will be positioned at these places for conducting random tests. Hence, enforcement, prevention and treatment will go hand in hand. Meanwhile, in Puducherry, the recovery rate from COVID-19 disease stands at 86.02%. And the fatality rate is 1.72%. Of the 33,452 corona-affected cases, 28,774 cases treated and discharged from the 4 regions of the Union Territory. 206 persons were tested positive for the coronavirus disease and 2 died, and presently 4,100 active cases here. Chandra Mohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Cricketer Suresh Raina has appealed to people to follow all COVID-related precautions to stay safe from coronavirus.
मेरी तरफ से सभी उन लोगों को एक हिदायत है कि प्लीज वेयर अ मास्क, मेंटेन द सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, बी वाइज, बी सेल्फिश, आई वुड से, एट द सेम टाइम बी वेरी वेरी पॉजिटिव, बिकॉज वर्क हार्ड, ट्राई टू डू लॉट ऑफ योगा, डू रनिंग, आप कोशिश करिए कि फैमिली के साथ टाइम स्पेंड करें, घर वापस आए तो आप सेफ रहें.
World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has said that 184 countries have now joined the COVAX facility. While addressing the media briefing in COVID-19 in Geneva yesterday, he said this aims to finance COVID-19 vaccines to be distributed fairly to both rich and poor countries.
On 9 October, I shared that 171 countries and economies were part of the Gavi, CEPI and WHO-led COVAX initiative for vaccine access. I am pleased to announce that now 184 countries have now joined COVAX. The most recent countries joining over the weekend are Ecuador and Uruguay. COVAX represents the largest portfolio of potential COVID-19 vaccines and the most effective way to share safe and effective vaccines equitably across the world.
Mr. Ghebreyesus said physical distancing, mask wearing, hand hygiene, coughing safely, avoiding crowds and open windows, and ensure good ventilation with non-recirculating air are some of the precautions to be followed with utmost care. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. In Bihar, filing of nomination process will come to a close today for the third and final phase of state assembly elections in 78 segments. A large number of candidates are rushing to their respective offices of returning officers to submit their nomination papers. So far, over 340 candidates have filed their nominations for this phase. Scrutiny of nomination papers will be held tomorrow. The filing of nominations will also end today for Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha by-poll. Polling will be held on the 7th of November for this parliamentary constituency with the third phase of assembly elections.
JDU President and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar is holding multiple election rallies in poll-bound areas. Mr. Kumar said in a public meeting at Ghore that during his 15 years of tenure, his government has worked for empowerment of women. Due to Jivika self-help group, crores of people have come out from a vicious cycle of poverty. Mr. Kumar will address 5 election rallies today. Addressing a rally in Adyao, RJD leader Tejasvi Prasad Yadav said that this election is for elevation of Grand Alliance and downfall of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Mr. Yadav will address 9 election rallies today in Bhojpur, Jahanabad, Aurangabad and Patna in support of candidates of Grand Alliance. So far, many cases of violation of COVID-19 protocols and guidelines have been reported during these rallies. FIRs are being registered on contravention of these guidelines. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
In Madhya Pradesh, 355 candidates have been left in the fray for 28 assembly seats after withdrawal of nominations. On the last day of withdrawal of nominations, 35 candidates withdrew their names yesterday. Voting for the by-polls to 28 seats will be held on the 3rd of November and counting will be taken up on the 10th of November.
The notification for election for 10 Rajya Sabha seats from Uttar Pradesh was issued today. Polling for these seats will be held on the 9th of November. The Rajya Sabha seats will fall vacant in November due to the completion of the term of the members. In Chhattisgarh, 8 candidates are left in the fray after the last date of withdrawal of nominations for Marwadi Assembly by poll. Polling will be held on the 3rd of November for this seat. In Karnataka, brisk campaign is on for the by-polls to RR Nagar and Sira Assembly constituencies. Both the seats will go for by-election on the 3rd of November. The election to the 4 seats of Legislative Council will be held on the 28th of October. The 4 seats in the council fell vacant after the completion of the term of members in Southeast and West Graduate constituencies and Bengaluru and East Teachers constituencies.
In Manipur, 10 candidates have so far filed nominations for the by-elections. In all, 5 assembly constituencies will go for by-polls on the 7th of November. Some more candidates are expected to file nominations today, being the last date for filing of nominations. In Ladakh, dispatch of all the polling staff, polling materials and security personnel deployed at remote and far-off polling booths for the ensuing General Council election of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, Leh, has completed today. Polling staff along with polling materials and security personnel for the rest of polling booths will leave the district headquarters tomorrow. Our Leh correspondent reports.
All the polling parties, along with the polling materials and the security personnel of 10 constituencies, 5 each in Nubra and Changthang, and 4 polling booths of Shumaka located within the Himis National Park have left Leh this morning to their respective polling booths. While polling parties, polling materials and the security personnel of 2 polling booths located most remote areas of Lingshed constituency have airlifted in helicopter of Indian Air Force. The election authority Sachin Kumar and the SSP Leh Om Prakash Pandey have show off the official at the technical airport in Leh. Out of 294 polling booths which have set up across all the 26 council territory constituencies, 15 of them have been identified as hypersensitive while 45 as sensitive polling booths. With Ramesh Chandra, this is Yangchan Dolma for AR News from Leh Ladakh.
Top officials of Assam and Mizoram held talks yesterday at Lailapur and Kachar district close to the interstate border where a violent clash left many people injured. Officials from both sides decided to take necessary steps to ensure peace and tranquility along the interstate border. Also, the union government has assured both Mizoram and Assam government to amicably resolve the boundary dispute between 2 neighbouring states. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, Director of National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 011-233-14444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
In Maharashtra, more than 13,000 pregnant women were provided benefit to the tune of 5 crore rupees in Sindhudurg district under the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana scheme. District Health Officer Dr. Mahesh Khalipe said a total of 5 crore 76 lakh rupees has been provided to 13,706 pregnant mothers in Sindhudurg district under the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana.
The central government Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana has been implemented since last 3 years to reduce maternal and child mortality due to lack of proper diet, medical treatment and care. Under this scheme, pregnant women were given a grant of rupees 5,000 in 3 installments. The dual purpose of the scheme is to provide rest to the mother and also to get the benefit of sunken wages. Under this scheme, 2,676 beneficiaries from Kural Taluka in Sindhudurg district have got the benefit of 1 crore 14 lakh 8,000 rupees. The scheme has been implemented effectively even during the lockdown period from April to September this year. With Nilesh Joshi from Sindhudurg, this is Devapriya Bhattacharjee, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Minister of Minority Affairs, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, has said that Hajj 2021 will depend on national international protocol guidelines due to the pandemic. Chairing the Hajj 2021 review meeting in New Delhi, Mr. Naqvi said, Indian Hajj Committee and other agencies will formally announce the Hajj 2021 application process and other related preparations after a decision is taken by the Saudi Arabian government on it.
In IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab will take on Delhi Capitals in Dubai this evening. Earlier, Rajasthan Royals beat Chennai Super Kings by 7 wickets in Abu Dhabi last night. Rajasthan achieved the target of 126 runs with 15 balls left. Rajasthan made 126 for the loss of 3 wickets in 17.3 overs. For Rajasthan, Jos Buttler was the highest scorer with 70 not out of 48 balls. Earlier, electing to bat, Chennai Super Kings scored 125 for 5 in their stipulated 20 overs.
And now let's take a look at the weather update for today. The temperature in the national capital Delhi will hover between 14 and 35 degrees Celsius. It will have a mainly clear sky. In Mumbai, there will be generally cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder or lightning. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 32 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and maximum temperature will be around 34 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. Srinagar and Ladakh will have a mainly clear sky as well. The temperature in Srinagar will hover between 3 and 25 degrees Celsius. In Ladakh, the minimum temperature was minus 5 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 20 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will experience mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 5 and 28 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 31 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 16 and 32 degrees Celsius. The city will have a mainly clear sky. And in Chandigarh, there will be mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 16 degrees Celsius and maximum will be 33 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 6 p.m. today. India is at the forefront of vaccine development for coronavirus, says Prime Minister. COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 88.63%. Today is the last date for filing of nominations for the third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections. Foundation stone of the first ever multimodal logistic park in Assam laid by Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari. And in IPL cricket, Kings 11 Punjab to take on Delhi Capitals in Dubai this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the midday news.